I can do this. Fun times, huh?
Very fun times. Technical difficulties. I apologize. Now nobody knows where to find us.
No, they'll be fine. Let's see if I can get it on my iPad instead of my phone. It happens. We all have technical difficulties.
I thought it was going to be easy. What a joke.
Okay, I'm trying to refresh here and it's not. Things here. That's so weird.
I can hear you. Oh, she's gone.
So I try to open it with the iPad.
Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties. Oh, you can hear?
Yeah, I can't get you on my iPad, so you're gonna have to be on my phone for some reason. It's not letting me switch that over. But that's okay. We're here.
We're here. Oh my gosh, I didn't think we would be here.
That's okay. We're here.
We're here. Oh my gosh, I didn't think we would be here.
That's okay. We're here. Oh my God. Hold on, let me. See. Okay, there we go.
All right.
You gotta love those technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. Okay.
Whew.
Okay, let's reground ourselves.
We gotta
It's
breathe.
good. I know, it's good. We're good.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Celina, for jumping on tonight. Sorry that it was such a mess.
It happens. It happens. I'm just happy to be on here with you and get to talk to you and like kind of in person, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So tonight we're gonna talk about aliens and conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So I have always been like totally terrified and scared of aliens until I moved to Phoenix and I met people who, said they're hybrids or who were abducted and like that didn't really scare them, which really confused me. So I started like researching
Mhm.
it. But what first attracted you to aliens?
Oh my god, my husband.
Really?
Yeah, so when him and I first met, so we met I lived in Texas, in Houston, and he lived here in Pittsburgh, and, we dated long distance. Hi, Jess. Hi, Ange. So we dated, we were long distance, and he worked for television, so he was always on the road. And with him being on the road, and I worked for the hospital system, so I was 7 on, 7 off. I worked night shift. So I had like 2 weeks off in a month where I could go and travel wherever he was at. So he's like, "Hey, meet me in Vegas and then I want to take you to Area 51." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go to Area 51." And since then I was hooked. Like the drive there, extraterrestrial highway, just the adrenaline rush you get when you're like at the gate and you see those vans like not close but like somewhat close enough where you kind of feel like a little threatened, but it's like it's that fun adrenaline that goes with it. And since then I was like hooked. So we've been yeah, it's been like 8 years, and I think it's such a it's so cool, it's so fun to think that you're not the only ones here, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. What about you? So what I mean, you said it was in Arizona, right?
Yeah, so most of my friends had either have had abduction stories where they've
Mhm.
woken up in the middle of the night and they're levitating and they remember being on the ships, or this one woman who she actually has a YouTube channel. I've shared her YouTube channel before, but
Mhm.
her name's Vivian Chavez, and she is from Montreal. And she talks about how her mother consciously was taken aboard a Arcturian ship and was impregnated, and her husband knew, and like it was all like consensual. Like my thing is if you're being abducted in your sleep, how can that be consensual? I don't know. I feel like it's
Unless you like subconsciously agree to it, like, like beforehand or something. I don't know.
I
But
still I still don't like it, because so this going back to my friend who woke up levitating,
Mhm.
she was like, I want to there's this artist in Arizona who creates alien head busts, and she says she like puts the essence of the alien into the bust. So then people who feel like they have like past life connections or current connections with these beings can consciously connect with them. And my thing is and she wanted to buy one. Like she wanted to buy like a
Mhm.
small gray. And my thing was, that's creepy. But I guess maybe it gives abductees like a sense of control, like feeling like they're in control of the contact rather than waking up in the middle of the night and being abducted. But going back to Vivian, like her experience is totally different. It was totally consensual, and
Mm.
so she's very tall and skinny, like her proportions like don't make sense. And she had like a lot of health issues growing up, but and she's very like scientific minded. She's an
Oh, so she
incredible
totally fits that, like, let me pull out my Mystic Martian Oracle. So she
she
totally fits that
fits
type, right?
she fits it perfectly. And so she's in constant contact with her Arcturian family, and she does these like amazing healings and meditation. So being in her
Cool.
presence, and if what she's saying is true, there's nothing like scary, at least about her. And so I've expanded my awareness that it's not all aliens depend are like good or bad, like within
Mhm.
a race. Like there's not good races versus bad races.
Yeah.
It's just like people. There's good people and bad people. So there's good grays and bad grays. There's good
She would be
Arcturians and
considered like a tall gray, or no, she'd be under Arcturian?
Arcturian, yeah. Sorry, I was like combining my stories and
No, you're fine. I think that's very exciting because, so I didn't know anything about all this stuff until, like, my husband, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm still, like, fairly new to all this, but then here it is, Arcturian, feeling safe, wisdom keeper, and concern, but
Yeah. And
how cool.
she's like, an amazing healer, a scientist.
Mhm.
Like her day job is scientist and her, part-time job is healer. She leads meditations and like workshops and
Good for her.
yeah.
So wisdom keeper, feeling safe, coherent, prudent, emotional, intelligent, deep, listening, sensible, soul searching, reserved, confident and friend, or confidant and friend, mentor, insightful, rational, and conscientious.
And that's definitely her. Like all of those things. Yeah.
That's so cool. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to see if I can pull these notes up on my iPad here. Of course, it's waiting. So I had a really deep past life meditation regression done about 2 years ago. And in that one, she mentioned, let me see if I can pull it up on here. Uh, so she mentioned my like starseed family. And she even like helped me in that meditation find out their names, like some of their names. So in that meditation, they said that they were not ready to give me all this information. This was about 2 years ago, and that they were going to reveal themselves further down the road.
Hmm.
On like, all I know, it's God, I gotta pull up these notes on here. Let's see. I have like a gajillion notes on. Here we go. So I have a council of seven from beyond Sirius star to the left. And that's what I was able to get in the meditation. And she got the same stuff. And it says, Council of seven from beyond Sirius to the left. I will get to know them better over time. Um, and I have one that I drew. Her name is Celeste. So here's my council member, my council members.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then this one's Celeste. I still feel like I need to redraw her again, but she has like a staff. She has like a pinkish undertone and skin that I could recall. And her hair was very white and she was very slender.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
That's
she
so
has like but she carries a staff like that.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Celeste and Celina.
I know. So, and it's weird that I actually got the name Celeste because for some reason, like I was thinking of that name prior to that meeting. And I don't know why that name was coming up, like why I kept hearing that name. And
Mhm.
then I had that past life regression slash meditation. And then that's where Celeste came up. Cause I asked, I'm like, does the name Celeste mean anything? And she said, yes, that's my name.
That's so
So
cool.
it was like really weird, but I don't know exactly like where aside from past the Sirius star system to the left.
Yeah. Well, you'll receive that information in time.
Yeah. So I was looking through the Mystic Martian Oracle and kind of like looking through and what their qualities were.
Uh-huh.
And I think, like, Andromedan is what really drew me, like, right away, and I shuffled my cards and I was asking questions, asking my guides, "Please help me find out, like, what star system," and Andromedan came flying out. So it was that card.
Oh, wow. It's very, like, it's reminiscent of what you drew.
I know, so I looked up the card meaning and it was, like, logic, left logic, right creativity, which I've been told many times that I use both sides of my brain pretty evenly. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, you when other people are, like, looking left at whatever's happening over there, you're noticing something even more incredible to the right. They're like, "You very much use both sides of your brain pretty equally." And it's funny that I'm actually ambidextrous.
Oh, cool.
So are my kids.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
my kids play sports with their left hand, they eat with their left, but they write with their right, and, they do other things with their right as well. So it's really, like, I'm very much both-sided, and
Mhm.
it's funny that someone had told me that, but they said left logic, right creativity, ascended consciousness, free will, untapped potential, paradox perception, manifestation, crown chakra activation, free thinker, telepathy, swift multisensory perception, go-getter energy, unique, individual, quirky, eccentric, fluid gender, vibrant, creative, and excitement. And I was like, I think a lot of those really hit me, like
Yeah.
who I am. So it was really cool to do this, like look at this prior to actually coming on with you. So because I was like, I don't know what star system that is. All I know is what I've been told, and that's like, a little bit past. It's past Sirius to the left.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's funny because, I have a friend who identifies with the Lyrians,
Hmm.
and she's a Leo, and,
How
like,
funny.
it fits her perfectly.
Yeah.
She, holds breath workshops and yoni cleansing and clearing, and
Oh, cool.
um she acts in, like, as a shaman and does
Hmm.
shamanic journeys with people, and the Lyrian, it really fits her. And then I have another friend who's, like, all about the Pleiadians, and
Hmm.
that fits her. And then there's me, like, I'm like, I the Pleiadians, I was
Yeah.
never, I don't know. A few years ago, everyone was all about the Pleiadians, like,
Hmm.
oh, and I was always like, it wasn't until, like, Sirius B, I'm like, yeah. So Sirius B beings are from the Sirius binary star system. It's the white dwarf companion star where Syrian beings resides. The shamanic Dogon tribe of West Africa revere their ancient teachings on their deity Nomo, who was a Syrian star being that was said to arrive in a massive flying boat, then instructed them in complex astronomy and ancient history. Um, but for me, it's like they're the aquatic beings.
What page is that on?
This is on page 60. So for me, I always
Okay.
I think this is where, like, the mermaid beings, and there's
Hmm.
also um like the dolphins and whales are there too. But Sirius A also has water beings, and it, according to this book, this one's saying that the dolphins and whales and mermaids are from Sirius A. So maybe I'm just confused. I always thought it was Sirius B, but this book
Yeah.
is saying Sirius A. So I don't know.
Huh. Very cool. I'm, like, deathly afraid of the water, so I don't think, but that's because I, like, drowned in a past life, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, which I was, like, in that past life, and I remember myself, like, I was sick, and I was on a ship, and they thought I was dead,
Oh,
so they
wow.
just, like, threw me overboard, and I didn't die from the illness, I died from
Drowning.
from drowning. So, I think eventually, if they would have left me on, I would have died appropriately from illness, but the fact that I was thrown overboard made me. Yeah, so now I'm, like, deathly afraid of, like, I'm afraid of the water. And I've
Yeah.
already and then I've already, almost drowned in this life when I
Oh,
was, like, 11 years old.
That's so
So,
scary.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's, interesting how past life experiences influence current life experiences and fears and phobias and
Sorry, I'm getting text messages on here
oh, that's
because I can't get it on my iPad, but that's okay. Yeah.
fun times.
I
I
know,
couldn't
it's okay.
figure out Streamlab at all.
No, it's fine, it happens. But yeah, so that's how we like, I mean, that's how I got into the whole wanting to learn about aliens is because of my husband and going to Area 51, and he has had with him driving cross country pretty regularly, like, he would see stuff in the sky that was, like, not like, bright purple lights. He's like, "Where are these bright purple lights coming from?" Like, bright purple, like a magenta-y color purple, and, he has seen stuff in the middle of the night trekking cross country, so for him, like, he's a huge believer. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, that's
and that's
cool.
why the fact that you live in Roswell, I'm like, "Oh my god, I would love that."
It's not
You
that
or
much
you
fun.
yeah, that's what you said, oh my
If
goodness.
you're there is the biggest UFO conference in
Mhm,
Phoenix. It's the largest one, and it happens in Phoenix. And Vivian goes and presents there, and that one's way better than the UFO festival that happens here in July. So I've been to that one, and then I've been
mhm,
to the one here, and the one here is it leaves a lot to be desired. It's more military conspiracy theory here,
mhm,
where in Phoenix it's more like this. It's more like the mystical, like we're not alone, like what's the spiritual connection? What's the how can we help each other? Like how can the star beings help us at humanity? Where
yeah,
here it's very military conspiracy theory, um also very religious, like
the
dog.
military conspiracy, I can see that because that's what it was originally, right? It was a lot of it was covered up by military.
Right. So a lot of the information that's given here in list speakers, it's all about the, 1940, it's 1947, right? The Roswell incident.
Mhm,
Um, and the military cover up. Um, so you hear that once and like fine, cool. But I feel like year after year hearing the same info, like
yeah,
at least in Phoenix they talk about they have like experiencer circles, people who have been abducted. They have like I don't know,
oh,
it just feels more complete. It's
mhm.
not just about conspiracy theory. So
Hey,
uh,
Ramon.
so if you come here one time, like it will be fun, to
Yeah,
like hear the speakers, go to the UFO museum and their research center. Um, but everybody here in Roswell is very conservative and very Christian and very evangelical. So they may have stories and experiences or their family members with the 1947 crash,
mhm,
but they're not necessarily really into aliens. And a lot of the people who grew up and lived in Roswell want nothing to do with the aliens. They don't want their town to be an alien town.
really?
It used
But
to
that's what
be.
they're known for.
Before that, they were a dairy. This was like a dairy farming community. So that's what they want. Like all the elders, like everything with this town, they want it to be go back to farming and dairy, and they don't want the people who are here for the aliens. Like they don't like it. They
Hmm,
don't want their town to be known for that.
interesting. So Ramon Moon Scarab, he's my co-host for Thursdays.
Oh, hey.
Oh, so he's the one that got one of your husband's decks.
Oh, cool. Hopefully
Yeah.
you're enjoying it, Ramon. And Selena, thank you so much for purchasing so many
You're
decks.
welcome, you're welcome.
We're glad you guys are all enjoying them.
Yeah. And then I saw that, one of my other friends, Carolina, also purchased a deck too because she just recently posted a video on it.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
uploaded. I'm actually learning. I'm practicing Lenormand now. It's hard. Like I can't get my mind around it.
It's to me, it's very intuitive. Like, I think with any of the card systems, for in my opinion, I feel like using your intuition, like, for me, when I pulled out the stork, my my first thought was, like, first of all, it was my kids, because stork, you get the baby news and all that stuff, and I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
god, I have 3 boys. Please do not do that." I know they're in their, like, mid-20s and up and higher, but, yeah, I was like, Don't do that."
You're not
It
ready for them to be parents yet or
No, I'm not
whatever.
ready to be a grandma, that's for damn sure, that's for darn sure, but to me, I saw it as like a new beginning. So that was what my intuition pulled, is like a new beginning, and that's what I feel like I'm like when doing any of these decks, I feel like always go with your intuition.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah.
you're going to get a message that's in the deck, and it's going to say whatever the deck means, like whatever that means, but your intuition is going to pull something else out of it, and that image is going to pull, it's going to draw in something else instead, some other meaning, but it really will relate to that person or resonate. And so to me, it was like a new beginning, and I'm like, oh God. But then, how weird that when that video dropped, that same day, my son told me he was joining the military and signed up.
Oh, wow. New beginning. So it did have to
New
do with
beginning.
your child,
It
just
did.
not in
It
the way you.
correct. Correct. It did have to do with my child, not for a baby, but it was his new beginning of
Yeah.
starting the military, and I was like, holy crap. Like how and it's funny that I didn't even catch that. My husband did. He was watching the video, and he goes, and he's the one that mentioned, he goes, um, didn't Tyler just join the military? And he's like, that's what your card means. And I'm like, oh, it didn't even like dawn on me, because I had like filmed it like, a week and a half prior or something like that. So I didn't really like register that that's what that meaning was gonna mean. The day I drop it was the day he told me that he was joining the military. Hey, Jess. So yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
So I was like, but it did have to do with my child. It wasn't a baby. It was military news. And it's
Well,
funny because the card that I pulled from the Galactic Star Tarot was that the King of Swords, which is military. Like that can, they have swords on their like badges and stuff like that. The Marines.
he's joining the Marines.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. So it all of it made sense, and not like exactly how the card said, but it was like figuratively speaking, like intuitively speaking, all
Yeah.
of those cards made complete sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying not to get too in my head about it, but just
Yeah.
reading the book, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." It's like it's overwhelming.
Like I mean, I have like a PDF cheat sheet for like I found one online for like all of them, for like Kipper, for Lenormand, for just the regular tarot, for cartomancy. Like it had like all of them on there.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And it was like a cheat sheet, like a
Yeah.
reversal, upright, like a couple words, like just to kind of give you a broad meaning of what they all, like what each card meant. So I briefly looked at it, but for me, I was looking. To me, it was the actual image itself. Like, for example, the letter one. It was like, to me, it was like it could have been, you're getting special mail being
Yeah.
delivered, or just stuff like that is what it meant to me.
Yeah.
Hi, Rochelle. So yeah, yeah.
Or it could be like good news or
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, "Hey, Debbie, welcome, welcome. I'm
Hi,
so glad you
Debbie.
joined." Um, it could be good news or like a mail courier.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many different ways to read it and interpret it, but I think that's why, like, practice comes in because then you create your own connections and your own meanings for you.
Correct. Yeah.
So
So for anybody watching, that was a card that I pulled, the stork, and I was like, "Oh Lord, have mercy! That better not be a grandma anytime soon."
I'm
you
not
know, I
ready.
was like, "Do not do that." But it was the other message of bringing in news, new beginnings, and it was. my son's new beginning, so
Yeah.
as well as mine because I was, like, losing my ever loving mind that day. I'm like, "What? You're joining them where did this come from?" You know? And he tells me everything, but he didn't tell me until, like, the week of, and he's like, "I've been thinking about it," but I'm like, "Well, when was this? Because I never heard about this."
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
he
he
hadn't
tells
talked
me
to
everything. Yeah.
he didn't tell like, even hints? Nothing?
No,
Oh, wow.
no.
What was he afraid you were gonna talk him out of it?
I don't know because I've always been very supportive, you know? I'm that supportive mom. I take a step back and I if they come to me for advice, I'll give them advice, but at the same time, like, I want them to learn the good and the bad experiences, you know? That's how I learned. I learned the good and the bad because I was just I mean, I got kicked out of my house at 16, so I had no other thing to do but to figure it out, you know? And I
Yeah.
want them to try and I mean, yes, I'll always be there to help them and be there to support them, but at the same time, it's like I want them to also learn
Yeah.
and be confident in their own decisions.
That's really good. It's really healthy too.
So
Good boundary.
I'm not like that hover mom that like, "Oh, I'm gonna dictate everything for you and have everything set up for you." I'm not like that. I like to give them their space and let them figure things out, and they can call me anytime they want to. I'm always there. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's me as a mom.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Do you believe that everybody's a star seed, or do you think that
no, because it's pretty obvious that some people don't have those types of qualities,
yeah, that's
and or maybe they haven't ascended enough to be able to really tap into their true potential, you know? I think a
mhm,
lot of people haven't done that yet.
that's true.
But I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sure because I believe in past lives, present lives, future lives, concurrent lives, parallel lives.
Mhm.
So, I feel like a lot of time when like people are channeling, they're channeling either a concurrent life, a parallel life, or maybe like I just don't believe in time the way that it's constructed for us.
Nope.
And I've just met too many people who are star seeds, so maybe I just for me my it's like kind of skewed that I think we all are. They just might not be tapped into that energy within themselves, you know. There's a lot of fear. Like I said, I had a lot of fear
Oh, yeah, totally.
until I moved to until I moved to Phoenix and like met people who weren't afraid of that connection and weren't afraid of that. And
There as well, then you were having a past life memory, you know?
yeah. Like I have, so many like past life memories and like connections and um
So Debbie asked a really good question. Do you believe that we can tap into the Akashic records? Totally.
yeah, I think
I
everyone
Yeah,
can.
I mean, everyone can. I have gone into a really deep meditation and actually a regression at the with my, one friend that does all that stuff when she regressed me. I was actually, seeing the hallway, the library, and I
Yeah.
had the book in my hand. I opened it up, but I couldn't decipher what it said. But I mean, I held the book, my book in my hand, and I could see, like, the long hallway. I was walking the hallway. Like, I was there, I just haven't been able to tap into more of that information.
Yeah. Debbie
And this
said
was, like,
she
2
always
years ago when I last tried.
sees that gigantic call
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Debbie. It's like a huge library, like a really long just library full of all these I mean, to me, that's what it was. It was all these very huge bookshelves, and you're walking down this hallway, and in the middle of the hallway was like a little book stand type of thing, and I went and picked up the book, and I was looking at it and flipping pages, but I couldn't, like, decipher the messages.
Yeah, and I think that's what's more difficult, anyone can access it, but you're only going to see what you're meant to see. You're not going to be given information that you're not meant to see.
Or they're not ready to receive yet.
Exactly.
Like,
So,
it's gonna be there, you'll eventually be able to see it and read it and understand it and then do it for somebody else, but, they do hold back some of that information so that you aren't overloaded with too much at one time.
right. And I mean, think about it. It's like, I believe in free will. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in destiny. I believe we
Mhm.
make our own choices. So, um a lot of times our futures are being rewritten, you know, all the
Oh,
time.
totally.
And because our future is being rewritten again with that, I don't
Mhm.
believe in time. It means our past is being rewritten as well. So I think that
Oh,
that's
that's a good way to look at it, that your past is also being rewritten.
hmm so
Huh.
you know when you go into the hall, right, and you're looking at like either past lives or concurrent lives or parallel lives, what you're changing or doing in this life or in that life, it's changing. I like that movie that came out a couple of years ago. What was it called? And um it kind of talks about this. It's this crazy like movie where sorry, my dog saw
You're
something.
fine. My
Um
mine just went to bed.
oh um where they own the laundromat. She owns a laundromat, her and her husband, and they're having tax issues. What is the name? It's not the butterfly effect. Um,
Although that's a really good movie.
that is,
Yeah.
and there's like someone tells them like, oh well, you've got to do this. And it's like this machine and it allows her to tap into her parallel lives so she can do other things. And then like towards the middle to the end of the movie, the mother and the daughter are two rocks having a conversation over a cliff. They're like, "How did we end up as rocks?" It was such an absurd movie, but it's so good. Oh man, Nikolai, what movie was that? We own it.
Here, there, everywhere, I think.
I think it's something like Here, There, Everywhere, or can you look, please? We're looking, but it's so good
Yeah, that
because
sounds really cool to
it
watch because it's
that
the
philosophy,
concept of time, it's we created the time that we have now. Like from midnight, and then that's when your time starts again, and dawn, like we created all that. So the fact that you could rewrite your past, I think is like a phenomenal concept.
but don't
But
you think that's kind of like what you're doing when you're doing shamanic healing and you're going back
oh,
and you're pulling back the pieces that you've lost? And
well, because also when you do like a past life regression, and say, for example, you were um you were shot in the neck in a past life because of you were in like the prohibition era, and you
mm,
were at a speakeasy and you got shot. So in this life, you could have a scar from where you got shot by that gun in that speakeasy. And if you heal that past life, you can essentially get rid of that birthmark
right,
because you're getting rid of you're healing
that like
that.
karmic connection.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yep.
maybe you're not changing the past per se, but you're changing how it affects you now.
Correct. And
So
I
yeah,
think that's such a it's such a cool concept to think that you can do that and heal yourself. Um of all of your past life trauma. And I feel like even now, like for example, for me, I was a witch many, 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 many past lives before, like 12 that I can remember. Um, and all the trauma that comes with being that type of person in those ages, that time frame. Um, I think now, as I'm bringing all of that forward, I'm healing from it because I'm not afraid to speak up about it. I'm not afraid. I have a YouTube channel proudly saying I'm a witch, and back then you couldn't do that. So it's a lot of healing that's going on, healing your throat chakra. And
Your solar plexus and
correct. Like
everything. Yeah.
everything. Yeah. And you're healing everything because you are being very open about it. You're not being hush hush and still in the closet and not being afraid, and I think that's, to me, it's a powerful thing, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know though. I keep going in and out of the witch closet because I keep moving to places that it's just not safe.
Nothing's gonna happen to you if you do though, screw them. Be you. Be unapologetically you.
Yeah, I've got to get rid of that. I've got to work on my people pleasing because I'm all like, I'm so like concerned about like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to like scare anyone. Cause I remember sometimes even in Phoenix where it's fine, but I'd wear my pentagram shirt out and people would act differently towards me. They'd be kind of scared.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, I don't want to have that kind of reaction, but
Yeah. I'm
maybe
gonna say be you, and, I think you will heal a lot of stuff if you just said, "Screw everybody else, and this is who I am. Love it or hate it." I don't have to please anybody else but yourself.
yeah. I know, the people I work for giving tarot readings at their shop, like, it's Alien Enchantments, and then the
Yep.
next door is Eclectic Treasures, and an interview with the owner, Sean, is going up live Friday, I think,
Oh, nice.
and, he's always like, "Fuck everybody else, just wear your pentagram, like, just don't worry about."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says, like, the same thing you say, he's like, "Just be you," and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm
And if
just."
they can't accept that part of you, then they don't deserve to be in your life anyway. So, the only person that you're going to be seeing every single day is yourself and your husband.
That's true.
I'm sure your husband accepts you for the way you are and who you are. So, I mean, that's how it was with my husband. He accepted, like he knew all of this was in me and he brought all of this stuff out on me. But then,
Good.
like, as I was thinking about past life stuff, because I did a divine feminine video, like a VR for Rochelle and Aries Witchcraft. So I did the part 2, and there was something in there that I said about intuition that I was like, shit, I've always had it. Like I've always had this inner knowing, this ability. I just didn't know what to call it back then. I didn't call it anything back then. It was just, oh, I just know it, but now that time has gone by and I understand what all of that meant, I was always a witch, a spiritual person. I just never really flew that freak flag like I do now. Cuz now it doesn't matter, I'll go out with a pentagram shirt, I'll do rituals outside. My in-laws who are Catholic, they come in and they see my altars and they see my stuff and see me doing things, see my tattoos, and they ask questions and that's it. I'll do rituals and they're like, "Oh, can you include me in your ritual? Can you do a
Oh,
healing for me?"
that's cool.
Yeah, so they're, very open about having a daughter-in-law that's a witch.
Yeah. So speaking of, like healing, it's also not just your own past lives, but um ancestral past lives. I have an ancestor who was caught up, in the Salem witch trials. And so there's that fear,
Mhm.
of um be quiet, stay quiet, like don't put yourself
Don't
out there.
Right, don't ruffle others' feathers, don't
Right.
let people know who you are. But I think in that healing, what we're doing is letting people know who we are and not be afraid of that,
Yeah.
and be unapologetically you. Screw what anybody else has to say, and if they don't accept you for that, then they don't deserve to be in your life.
Yeah.
That's
For
just
sure.
that's the way I'm seeing it in this life. But in previous lives, I was like, yeah, I'm not, be quiet, don't ruffle feathers, don't be seen, be very secretive and mysterious. And now I'm like, no, I'm I'm healing all of that, and I'm ending all, that whole cycle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm.
So, switching gears a little bit, do you have a favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh God, there's so many of them.
I know. Do you have a
Um,
favorite though?
Bohemian Grove. Do you know anything about Bohemian Grove?
I do.
You do? What do you think about Bohemian Grove? So
I,
we've been seeing like people like sneak in, like break into Bohemian Grove with the big owl and all of the high ranking men from government and everybody who has like passes to go in there and whatever rituals it is that they're doing. Like, what do you think about Bohemian? To me right now, that's like my big one because I'm always seeing videos of people trying to break in to Bohemian Grove, and then another one that I'm, like, loving is, um, the pyramids in Giza and how they're, like, not just regular pyramids, they're a lot larger than what they're saying they are, and they go all the way down with the energy and stuff that they're more like huge obelisk.
that they were like free energy,
Yeah.
talking about like, and that's they
So to me,
provide
those are, like, the 2 big conspiracies that I've been really,
the free
like,
energy.
super interested in because of I've been seeing a lot of Bohemian Grove stuff and then seeing a lot of the Giza, the pyramids.
I feel like Bohemian Grove goes along with like the Illuminati and like what we're seeing in Hollywood right now with the Diddy case.
Yeah,
With the tunnels under Hollywood, like they all talked about that, and we're seeing that as true. And I mean, we know that slavery never ended in this country, and unfortunately, human trafficking is a thing. And why wouldn't Hollywood be the place? And I think it's really sad that we look at these singers and
idolize them.
yeah, and these actresses, and we think they have this really charmed life, and they're being used and abused and pimped out. And it's what, it's not really even a conspiracy theory at this point. It's just so.
It's like everybody knows about it, like with the whole, Epstein files and
Mhm.
all of that
So
stuff.
I don't know about how you feel, but I feel like Bohemian Grove is connected to that. Is connected. I feel because they're like it's Illuminati, and they're doing these rituals, which you see Diddy, he was doing rituals, and yeah, and then of course the pyramids, I definitely think they were power sources that powered their cities and towns, and um they had free electricity and power, and I think if we could tap into that, we could have that again.
Well, that was like with Tesla, with the
Mhm.
coils, he wanted to give, have everybody access to free
Mhm.
energy, and they completely cut that down because of they weren't gonna make any money off of that. I mean, look at now how much we pay now for electricity just to power our homes.
So I last week I was working with the Sacred Light Oracle,
Mhm,
and the reason I don't consider myself new age, even though I got kind of caught up in it when I lived in Phoenix,
mhm.
is because I feel like it's too connected to hierarchy, and I don't believe in hierarchy. I think that we need to do away with that. Um, it kind of it's too much structured, like our society is a hierarchy, right? Like,
Mhm.
and we need to put the power back in the people, and that's why I love the iconography, and I love how empowering being saying you're a witch or being a witch is, because it's giving the power back to us, the people. And that's why it's so scary for the 1% or people at Bohemian Grove, because they're the only ones who are supposed to be doing these rituals or having the power, because They don't want us to know that we're powerful and we can be do these things and free
Yeah.
ourselves. We don't have to be enslaved to their
But
systems.
correct. And it's a lot of people are mentally enslaved to those systems. And
Mhm.
for example, if the Diddy or okay, for example, like the Diddy case, what is it distracting you from actually seeing, or what's it actually like what's happening really that you're
Mhm.
being distracted by those cases, by
Right.
whatever else is on television? Like what are we being distracted from really knowing and really seeing?
Exactly, because everyone's known about him for the last 30 years and nothing happened. I mean, everybody's known all the long list of celebrities that he's uh
Unalived.
yeah, and now it's all a big deal. No, like you said, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
um
And I feel like a lot of that stuff is distractions, and too many people are, they're okay with being distracted. They
it's
don't
a
know any better to
it,
really question what's really happening.
it's a
Like,
distraction and it's entertainment.
yeah.
And so I was really big into conspiracy theories a few years ago, like big. Like I'd watch all the videos and like, and then I was just like, wait a minute though, but what is the point? What is the point? What is it? I also found that like it can help, right? Like change the way you think and see things, but I found it to be like maybe a morbid type of curiosity or a way to escape life. It was also became
Oh,
entertainment. It also became entertainment. And so I feel like with conspiracy theories, you have to be careful as well because if you let it consume you, then you also go into that world of fantasy.
yeah.
And then you're also not tapped into, well, what's really happening.
Which is why, like, I don't watch the news,
Yeah, I don't
like,
either.
at all. First of all, I'd rather watch somebody's content on YouTube over watching the news, and the reason for that is there's absolutely nothing that you can do about what's happening worldwide.
Exactly.
We have 0 power over it. Our voice does not matter, and I'm like, "Why am I gonna stress myself over watching news and bring myself down to a lower frequency?" Because that's what they want you to do. They
Right.
want you to drop your frequency. They want you to get upset. They want you to get all worked up about what's happening, but you're like your hands are tied. You can't do anything about it. You can vote, but really, can you?
Doesn't matter.
Does it
It's
matter?
it's
So
rigged.
why, for me, that's why I'm like, I don't watch the news for that reason because I can't do diddly squat about it. And I'm not going to lower my frequency to whatever that person's saying because A, I don't believe what they're saying. I'm going to
Right.
question everything they say because nobody has integrity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody has any people in that news outlet, they have 0 integrity about
Yeah,
finding the truth.
exactly. I agree with where was it?
Rochelle or
Yeah, is that witchy best friend? Sorry, they
oh,
want us to
Jess?
fight with each other over
Yep.
parties and lines, so we don't see how they are implementing controls and taking our money. Exactly, exactly. It's all about control and taking away our freedoms and um, dumbing us down and just having us so distracted that we're like, take all our money,
Mhm.
take all our resources.
So, like, I'll get, like, little snippets from my husband,
Mm-hmm.
but I really just zone out any of that stuff because I don't want to, like I said, lower my frequency to whatever it is that's happening on news. Like, I'd rather listen to meditative music. I'd rather watch a really good YouTube video from one of my friends. Like, I'd rather do that than pay any attention to the news or anything on the regular news outlet.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched the news in a very like 20 plus years. And it's funny because I wanted to become a journalist, but even
Well,
20
back
years.
correct, but back then you had those what journalists stood by, like what their ethics. They
There was
had
integrity, some
there
a
was
little bit
integrity,
less.
there was ethics,
Yeah. Now it's all
and people would be like the TV station or whomever you worked for could get in trouble because you were putting out information that was false.
right.
And now it doesn't matter. Now there is no such thing as integrity. There's no such thing as ethics. Like any of that stuff has been out the window for many, many, many years. So I'm like, why am I going to watch something if I don't even know that they're telling the truth, Or they're only doing it to have you fight against the other party or have you fight against the other sex. Like it's not I'd rather not, you know?
Yeah. I know it's division. It's that division and the hierarchy. And that's why for me, this, I'm like, nope, like ascended masters and the hierarchy and the
Mhm.
seven rays, like it all feels very to me like ick. Like
Mhm.
we need to move beyond that. We no more hierarchies, no more this person is better than this person or this person deserves XYZ and that person doesn't. Like it's all very icky to me. And I can see the influence of eugenics and the Nazi influence, which I know that the Nazis they were really big into Eastern religion. Hitler was, trying to go to Tibet. I don't know if he
Mhm.
actually did go to Tibet and like
They
take
did because
and
there's Tibetans that have, German DNA in them.
okay, yeah. So,
And it's the
they
same with Argentina.
yeah,
There's a lot of Argentinians that have
because they fled.
German DNA because, I honestly believe he fled. He didn't die in that bunker.
Yeah, that's another
Would
conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm, like, huge on that. My husband's a big World War II, like, we watch a lot of World War II channels, um, on, like, history and the stuff that they have in Argentina, like, the different types of, buildings that are very similar to the ones they had in Berlin that were, like, safe houses. A lot of the same ones are down there, and there's a lot of people that worked for him that are still alive or their family members are still alive, and some of them said yes, and some of them said, "I can't talk about it." So the fact that you can't talk about it is already information enough that something happened.
Here's a conspiracy theory that I just heard about, and it's very recent. It's way more recent than MK Ultra. Ultra. I'm sure you know about
Mhm.
MK Ultra, right?
Yeah.
And it would affect we're the same age. It would affect our generation. Okay. So I've never heard of this. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's something about do you remember the like testing they did in school with the hearing? You had
Yes.
those and
Yep.
then remember how they gave us fluoride?
Yes.
Fluoride. Well,
Yep.
I wasn't allowed to take it, but there's this whole conspiracy theory about this like I think it's called GATE or GATES program. I guess that's what they called it. But I mean, we were kids in school, so we wouldn't have
Mhm.
known. It was like the gifted and talented um, educational system or something, or, you know, something
Yeah.
along that lines. And so it's interesting. I was watching this video about it, and they were saying that they felt that this program and that actual sound, it wasn't actually a hearing test. It was actually done by the HemSync industry, which I actually like that. I like HemSync. I use HemSync because I'm a hypnotherapist. So I know what it does, but they
Yeah.
were saying that it's like they were looking for the students who had natural ESP abilities or could astral project, and they would follow those students and then recruit them, and they like had like the puzzles and like basically a lot of the things that they showed for the testing. I remember in Alias, I love that show. I don't know if you watched
Yep.
Alias, but at the end, like she's remembering as a child like playing these games, and it was all like that stuff that they get, to test kids our generation. So I guess this went from like the late 70s to like the mid 90s or
Men.
late 90s.
Yeah.
Um, but they were like testing on us, like, okay, you know, give them fluoride because it calcifies the pineal gland. And um, but it's weird. It kind of seems counterintuitive. Why would you be giving us like HemiSync, right? To see
Yeah.
if we could astral project and do all this stuff and then close it down with fluoride. I like that, I guess I don't get.
Probably the fear of having someone have those abilities and automatically knock it down,
But then
or
so
like
I guess
slow it down, slow down the rate.
so some people like in the comments were saying, yeah, they remember that, and like once a month they'd go to this special classroom with someone who wasn't a teacher and like do these activities. And you know,
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because all the conspiracy theories like that I've heard of before always affected previous generations, like MK Ultra or
Mhm.
alien abduction or
That's very cool.
because
So yeah.
I personally think a lot of the alien abductions aren't really done by aliens. I think it's done by our own military testing out alien tech. That's my conspiracy theory.
What's
Oh,
happening?
you froze. What did you say, Selena?
I said that's a really good one to think about, that it's actually happening like that. That's the military that's doing it and not real aliens.
I mean, there could be real aliens out there
Yeah.
doing it, but I also think that that's also um, a possibility.
Jess said, I almost rather the aliens get me than the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jess.
I don't know if I believe anymore about the fluoride conspiracy anymore. I wonder if certain things are also fed to the general public to create distrust. I don't know. Why don't can you explain more on that? I don't know. I mean, that's possibility. So do you think it does the opposite? Do you think it like fluoride somehow clears the pineal gland? I mean, that would actually make more sense to me, especially if this gifted and talented
But they
educational,
gave fluoride to everybody.
unless your parents said no, which my parents said no.
Oh, like my parents, they didn't, like I had it. Huh.
Yeah,
Very, very,
yeah,
very,
your parents had to opt out. I think I took it once and my mom flipped her shit and was like,
yeah.
"Don't you ever give my daughter anything ever again."
See, I mean, I think my parents didn't know any better to say no about it, to say no, don't do it. Like they didn't. I feel like they didn't know any better.
Or as they said, maybe it doesn't actually do that. Let's see. All of the crystal skulls that have been found around the world. What if they were in fact actual alien beings who ended up crystallized form? That's that could be.
Yeah, it brings me all the way back to like the Indiana Jones movie.
Was your best friend? Yeah, that's cool. Your parents said no too. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, Debbie, that
Naturally,
was me. I mean, that was my parents. They didn't pay attention enough to say no.
yeah. Well, I had a helicopter mom, so
But then Rochelle said, so our pineal gland should naturally crystallize with evolution.
and since crystals do transmit energy, you're right. Maybe she's onto something. I like that. That's
I
a
like that,
really
Rochelle. Yeah, I think that if they did give you fluoride, because it crystallized. So that's the same.
holds
Okay,
memory. Yeah.
so
And it
speaking of crystallizing and internal, so Rochelle, that would bring the attention to having gout because you're I mean, you get crystals in your body with the gout. So is that what you deal with, Rochelle? I feel like you're just always ascending, Rochelle, because of the oh, exactly. Yeah. So the gout, because you form those crystals in your body, which causes that pain. And I I feel like I remember watching like a video on the gout and the crystallization and how they evolved. They because of the energy frequency in the crystals naturally forming in your body, that you had a different you used to say it was a royal disease. Huh. Yeah, because I mean, with gout, you naturally form crystals in your body, which is really cool. I mean, not cool because it's painful.
It's
And you have
painful,
to
it hurts.
watch yeah, you have to watch your diet and everything.
Yeah, witchy best friend, my mind has just exploded. Like, this is interesting. This is such an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
So that actually it makes more sense now why they were giving us fluoride
fluoride.
and doing the hemi-sync and the trying to see who could astral project naturally. Maybe they weren't trying to stop it. They were trying to speed up evolution.
Speed it up and then track you so that they could use you for government.
Exactly.
Like the people that did remote viewing and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that, follow them and then find out who had those abilities so that they can remote view
Yeah.
into China, into Russia, into, military bases, all that stuff.
Yeah, this woman, she also talks about that guy, and his name's like Ingo. I want to say Star Ingo something. He's the one who developed the um. That is so true, Rochelle. What you just said about you manifest it into being by planting the stories. That is so true. Um, yeah. So they did studies on his brain after he learned how to remote view, and he was like very accurate, and he created a system. I actually have his book somewhere, but
I love you, Rochelle.
yeah, oh my gosh, that is so true.
That's
Like
so true. I love it.
that's their new like push. Anyway, so like they did studies on his brain, and his brain chemistry was totally changed. It's not like the general public. So maybe they were doing mass experimentation on young kids. Like, okay, if we start them young, maybe we can change their brain frequency, like you said, and then use them.
Yeah. So Carla, Rochelle's sister, is a phenomenal palm reader,
Uh huh.
like phenomenal palm reader. So Rochelle is incredible as well, like with especially when she like I don't follow the Western astrology. I follow the true the true uh
Citteral, is that what it's
yes,
called?
yeah, I'm having a brain fart here.
It's okay. Hey, Ange,
But
welcome back.
hi, Ange. But so Rochelle, when she was reading my palms, and I sent her pictures, she's like, Celina, what the heck? She goes, your both your hands do not match, like at all. Like one is completely different from the other one. Even the shape of my fingers are different in one hand compared to the other. Like they're more pointier on my left hand and they're more rounded on my right hand. And she's looking at him. She's like, it almost seems like you had some type of alien intervention when you were younger,
Oh wow.
like around a specific age. And I'm like, that's funny that you mentioned that age because I don't remember anything from that age.
Wow.
Like nothing. I don't remember anything. My siblings would talk about, "Oh, we did blah 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 at, that time." And I'm thinking, "Well, how old was I?" And they tell me and I'm like, "Why don't I remember this?" They're like, "Well, you were there." I'm like, "But I don't remember anything." For like a good 4 years, I have like blocked out and it could have been trauma. I don't know what it was. I could have blocked out everything that I did in those 4 years, but I don't remember anything. Like nothing at all. To me, those 4 years are gone because I have 0 recollection of what I did, what happened, any of that stuff. So when Carla was reading my palm, she's like, "It almost seems like you had alien intervention because it," and she's like, "And it looked like they altered your DNA because your hands are make 0 sense." She's
Wow.
like, "I'm looking at 2 different people's hands."
That's crazy. I like what Rochelle said, if you maybe you're a walk-in. I always think that I was a walk-in. So I had a
What is
very
that?
a walk-in is when the spirit that you were born with decides to leave, and a walk-in, like
Oh.
like a star being comes in and takes your place and lives out the rest of your life for you. So I think that happened to me as a child, as a baby, because I almost died as a baby. I was in the um NICU, like I was a premature baby. I was born 3 months early. I only weighed like 2 pounds, 3 ounces. And I almost died. And so, yeah, it can be temporary. I think that a psychic had
Mm.
said that to me, that I had a very traumatic birth. I think my original soul left and there was a walk in. Um, yeah, through traumatic times. They can be temporary, or it could be like that soul just says peace out. So like it happens a lot in like people who are suicidal, and they just are like, I can't live this life anymore. And so it's almost like you have a contract with another being. Maybe it's your higher self, maybe it's a parallel self, maybe, who knows, we don't
So
know.
because when that happened,
Hmm.
like, that's when I drowned, like, right before that.
Oh wow.
Like, I had my like, I remember seeing, like, the water and everything and being pulled down, and then all of a sudden, I came up and I saw, like, I saw the sky, I saw the lights. After that, nothing for, like, 4 years. It was right after that drowning experience.
So it does sound like maybe it was temporary. Maybe, for those 4 years you had a walk in, and then your soul like got better and healed and you came back.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah, because like, I'm doing that emoji that Jess put up with the
Yeah,
whole mind blown, like, maybe that's what happened to me because I don't remember anything. My younger sister has, like, deep details of everything that happened during that time frame, and I'm like, "Where the hell was I?" Like, she was younger than me. How can she remember all of these details and I don't remember anything?
there was a really good book I read. It's called Welcome to Planet Earth. Um, and it's for walk-ins. I don't want to walk-ins. It was such a good, okay. It's called
Debbie, she says, "I'm putting my order in for a better body." Amen, sister.
Yeah. I think I don't know if this is this doesn't look familiar, but it's called, this might be just a different
Book cover.
not a different cover. Thank you. It's called Welcome to Planet Earth: A Guide for Walk-ins, Starseeds, and Lightworkers of All Varieties by Hannah Beaconsfield. And
Hmm.
it was such a good book. I didn't find it too woo woo. Like sometimes with like alien
Mhm.
books like this, I find it really woo woo, but I really like this. I also, another book that I really liked was the Hathor material. That was so good. And it came with like a CD. Um,
Everybody's putting in specific, requests for their bodies. Heck yeah.
yeah, I'll take a new lower back.
Yeah. Right, Ange?
That's funny. Let's see. Raises my hand, me too. Can you order a new body for me? I wish it was that easy. I would put in for a new
Mechanic
body.
needed.
So this the Hathor material is by Tom Kenyon, and it's such a good book. And that's about which we don't really, they're not really an alien race. The Hathors are, it's almost like they were part of the Egyptian civilization, and then they just raised their frequency and left this plane, this dimension. So they're more interdimensional. Like the mermaids
Because
are,
I heard a lot of them did that because the longer they stayed on Earth, the more I mean, they were losing their abilities. They were
yeah,
becoming too much like humans.
they were becoming, so they weren't actually even like human, like physical. they were already kind of higher up,
Mhm.
and so they could either drop or raise up, and so they rose up even higher. Um, oh, you heard they were from the Pleiades? Maybe.
Wow.
I'm gonna become like the Bionic Woman. That's gonna be that the Bionic. We're gonna get robotic parts here soon. I don't know if I want robotic parts though. I'm good on that.
I mean, if your body's gonna stop working because 'cause you're getting to you're getting old or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit reserved on that too.
They have movies about that where like
Oh, yeah.
everybody gets upgrades and you're basically like half robot, half human, android.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Was that the movie with like Jared Leto? Was he the one who was like the only person left? He was like the last fully he had all only human parts. Was
I
that
feel
the
like
movie?
there's a lot of those movies, like even I Am Legend. Remember how all the robots they were was it I Am Legend? Like he was the only it was like they were overtaken by like a zombie apocalypse and there was like
I think
aliens that were like not aliens, but the robots.
yeah, they took over and was
Mhm.
it just Will Smith? Was he the only one left or something?
I think so. She said she'll take robot parts to, for the joints, but not organs or brain. Yeah.
Or yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess that's like a
I
good
mean,
like
you want to stay a human. You want to have those human emotions and thoughts. I feel that's
right.
really cool.
I don't know. I get all nervous about um I like that show on Amazon Uploaded. Did you see that on Amazon?
Mm-mm.
Not was it Amazon Prime? It's called like Upload and they when you die, they upload your consciousness to the cloud.
Oh,
But of course you have to be rich and you have to like everything is an upgrade. Like you have to pay for everything. But like you can still talk to your family who's still alive. Like that's why they do it. So like you're living in VR, virtual reality, and but you can still have conversations with your family and like your friends
huh.
and then the ultimate goal is to be able to download back into a home like a lab grown body.
Wow. It's one of the Convoluted Universes books by Dolores Cannon. She
Was it
regrets was an android on another planet, and she said she had half of a soul, but others didn't realize it. Wow.
okay? Rochelle, you saw Upload. Yeah, I really like that. I think after watching that, I'm like, I don't want to be uploaded, and I don't want to become. I don't want to go to the cloud. I don't want to be a robot. Half a soul. I wonder how do you have half a soul?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if half your body, I don't know. You should have a full soul regardless if you're robotic or not, or partially robotic. If your essence can still be there, you know?
Yeah. Was that in the first convoluted universe book? Yeah, I
But
definitely.
also, no, I don't want to be uploaded.
I don't either. I agree with you.
The only way I want to upload is to like a spirit guide. That's the only upload I want. Yeah, me too, Jess. I'm okay with being dead. I'll be a ancestor and a spirit guide instead.
Oh, in the fifth book. Oh man. Yeah, but you could be a spirit guide right now and not know.
Well, and it also goes back to with all of your past lives, like you're your own ancestor. You at one
Mhm.
time could have been your own ancestor, your own spirit
Ex-
guide.
Exactly.
So just the thought of all of that, it's incredible. Just to think that you could have been all of that for your
Your soul could. I believe that your soul could be in two places for sure.
oh, totally.
I think it's
Yeah.
in more than two. I think our soul is. I think that's part of what that fragmentation. We're all so fragmented.
Or in fact aspects of ourselves.
I
Yeah. Or
agree.
yeah, higher aspects of ourselves.
I agree with that 100%. You're gonna download some messages here, Ange. That's awesome. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. She's gonna download them onto onto her favorite tarot deck.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah, she's gonna do it on her Galactic Star Tarot deck.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, we've
Oh
been
my goodness. No, I
oh,
just
go ahead.
yeah, that's just I mean, all of that is just it's I mean, I'm gonna be thinking about that heavily when I go to bed tonight. If I can even fall asleep thinking about it, because to know that you could have been your own ancestor, to know that you could have been your own spirit guide, and the fact that you have that knowledge that's in there, you just haven't been able to tap into it.
And that's why, they say we are
I saw that. That's only
seven.
$7 right now on Hay House.
They're having a really good sale right now. I'm trying so hard not
Me
to
too. I'm trying
go
not
buy.
to because I already bought too many decks recently and I can't add more to my collection.
Yeah. Ugh, my brain is fritzing. That deck is so awesome. I love the Galactic Star.
Yep, I have it here and it's a really, really, really good deck. Yeah. And you get some really good messages from it.
You got rid of 100 decks?
She did. I bought 12 of them.
Oh, wow. Holy cannoli. I need to
You
start
are a community enabler.
I need to start getting rid of some decks. Like, I have a couple decks like right here that I may be getting. Like I said, this one's probably gonna be going soon. I have a few,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm gonna give some to my niece, and I sent some to Jess. That's in the chat here. Yeah, because I mean, I had to make room for more, so I felt like I had to get rid of some of them, even though I
yeah.
wasn't going to. But then I like last minute, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of like the ones I'm not using, and I feel bad that they're there and I'm not using them. It was
For,
all part of that purging, cleansing.
for me, it's not if I there's so many I don't use, but if I just can't connect with the deck or it doesn't feel like it jives or like I said, this one was perfect. It's perfectly fine and it's great. I just don't um vibe with it. I don't believe in the philosophy anymore. So, and I wish someone lived close so I could gift some decks. I know, oh, shipping from Canada, yeah, shipping in general is just, it sucks because in Phoenix and even in Tucson, Arizona, like I knew where I could go to like sell my decks,
Hmm.
where they would take them. But, trying to sell your decks online is hard. Like
Well, not only
they'll
that, but
just
then you're
sit.
dealing with the shipping, and then what if something happens during the shipping,
Yeah,
and then you're responsible for that? Like, I don't want to be responsible for any of that. So
exactly.
I'd rather just give them away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I did. And then like my niece, she wanted a reading the other day and I'm like, okay, let me just I'm gonna send you some decks.
Yeah, I had a coworker in Phoenix who she was asking me about, she had questions. So of course I answered her questions about tarot
Mhm.
and stuff. But then I had the good tarot, which I just didn't connect with. I felt it was too airy, like it wasn't
Mhm.
grounded enough for me. I want really grounded decks. And so I gifted it to her because
Mhm.
she was very Christian. So I felt like it's called the good tarot and there was no scary cards. So I felt like it would be perfect.
Hi, Yadira, underneath the veil of marigolds.
Hello, welcome, welcome. We're just, I think, wrapping up. My brain is like
You're short
fried
circuiting.
hot.
You're short circuiting.
I am.
Oh, they want to heckle you.
Yeah, like fighting for, yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah, I mean, and that's me too. I mean, and I get more pleasure on gifting them than I am gonna heckle someone for $5. It's just not
exact.
gonna happen. Like, I'd rather not even deal with that hassle. Period. I'd rather just gift them.
Debbie, oh, the good tarot. Well, I'm glad you like it. It's a hug. Yeah, I mean, my hug deck is John Holland's the psychic tarot. Like I love that deck. Like that's my hug deck.
That's okay, Yadira. Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to add, Selena?
No, I think we covered a lot of topics on here. I think that was really it was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Um, Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, everyone, for my technical difficulty.
It happens, we all have those.
Thank
Yeah,
you all for joining. Thank you,
yeah,
Selena.
thank you
It was really
guys.
good to see you, and thanks for watching.
No
Bye,
problem.
everyone.
Bye, guys, thank you.